first talk about what you're sort of heading towards. So you've done HR, you've done marketing, you're in operations now, you want to try business analysis. I think you may be in your trying or in your trial phase right now, and I think you should go for it because you just don't know the one that you absolutely love. Now, I am not knee deep into business analysis, but I know there are people here who are in that industry who may be able to help you. I think Ramat, Kolawole, and I think maybe one more person, a business analyst on this group, and they may be able to support you as well in terms of getting into the industry, what you can do from a practical, from a technical standpoint. But this is what I'm going to say. Since you cannot know what you want to do, my best guess is I know I see it all over the place, all over social media, where people talk about if you want to do business analysis, come do this course, come do that course, do this, do that. You need to have a time that you just need to find the right course or the right program to get into to start learning it. But I genuinely think that the best way to learn anything career wise is to actually transition into that role, get a role, and then start doing it and start having practical experience. That those would be my thoughts. So I think that you need to maybe get into a program because obviously before you transition into the role, you may need to sort of show that you're qualified to go into the role. So that may then mean you going through some sort of program certification, whatever it is in business analysis. I am not a business analyst, so I don't really know that field that much, but you may need a bit of training and you may spend the next a couple of months trying to bring yourself up to speed and then start looking for opportunities in that space for you to then gain on the job experience. That's all I could say. So I'll tag Ramat, Kolawole, and whoever else is a business analyst so that they can chip in and tell you some of the practical things that you can do that can help you with that. Now, on the other aspect, I think my advice remains, even though this person is not your boss, you said that their remarks is needed in your appraisal, which quote unquote makes it a downward feedback. And even though maybe structure wise they may not be your boss, but technically they are. So this is what I'm going to say. My advice remains: I think you need to have a conversation with them. However, this time around, you need to be thinking of them as your boss because if they're going to remark on your appraisal, it means they're your reviewer, it means they're your supervisor. So you need to be having conversations with them about the dynamic of work. Obviously, still include there that you don't like to be yelled at because that is not appropriate. So they shouldn't be doing that. But have all of the conversation. Everything I've said remains, other than the fact that when you're now having a conversation, you really need to, and the fact that someone is your boss doesn't give them the right to yell at you. So you need to create that clear boundary, right? But you need to be letting them know. So you need to be talking to them. Now, the aspect of your team going to them to double check your thoughts with them, you can also raise that as well. I shared the example of my own example where in my own case it was my boss, it was my boss. I had to tell him I don't like my team double checking stuff with you. Once they come to you, can you send them back to me? And that happened because I asked. So you can also ask for that to happen. So essentially, I would technically treat this person like your boss, but I would draw boundaries and I would say that you should tell them to how you're feeling about their behavior towards you and how the team is actually optimal right now or producing, or the team is operating suboptimally because they're having to double check your your instructions and all of that. So I think you still need to have the conversation, but at the same time I think that you clearly said you are his assistant and they're going to be writing in your feedback. So that makes, I don't think you should get it mixed up. They are your boss. That's how I say it. If they are a senior, is he senior business officer? I don't know what you guys call SBU. If they're SBU and you're an ET, definitely they're your boss. That's one. Number two is more experienced than you are. And number three is the head of operations and you are his assistant. So that makes him your boss. So it's clearly your boss. I think you need to be clear because sometimes when you're not clear about was the dynamic, then you don't know how to approach things and get the best out of it. So I would technically see them as a boss. I'll technically see them as someone that I can learn from. But I will draw boundaries, and that's what I need you to do. So I'll tag Ramat and I'll tag Kolawole and whoever else is a business analyst to chip in into this particular one, especially when it comes to having you transition into business analysis.